Hello and welcome to EDSU 7320. It's District and Community Relations. I'm Dr. Walter Beavers. I'm Director of Doctoral Studies for Houston Baptist University. The interesting part about this class, as late as it is in your program, is an opportunity for you to take what you have learned on leadership theory, practical use of skill sets that you've gained throughout the program, and now begin to apply those skills and that knowledge to various parts of leadership, especially within a school system. So I want you to take this opportunity and take this class to look at district and community relations as part of an organization and how communications work with the general public and with the communities that the organization serves. The unique piece about this course is the fact that we're going to look at all aspects of public relations, community communications, organizational research, but I want you to look at it from the end user, not necessarily from the organization, but to those folks that are being communicated with. So why do we need to study public relations? Especially when you're dealing with organizations that serve the general public, and most of which are taxpayer funded, whether it's a school district, a municipality, state, or even county organizations. Taxpayers want to be vocal. They want to know what's going on, whether it's in their public education system, within their city, their county government, even state and federal government. Those organizations need to develop very strong communications and community relationships. It's not just about providing information. And those leaders within those organizations, in our case, a school administrator, may not be the strongest spokesperson for a district or for an organization. There are professionals. Remember that public education systems hire professionals, trained people to teach our kids. We also train leaders in organizational theories, leadership theories, curriculum and instruction, financial issues. We also need to train our school administrators in how to communicate and how to develop relationships with the community. These days, with cable TV and all of the online information systems, news cycles are 24/7, and any little bit of information is always gobbled up by the general public. As I said before, a lot of times educators equate communication with just disseminating information. Let's send this out in an email. Let's put it in a flyer. Add it to the newsletter. There are various ways to communicate with your community and with the parents. It has to not just be reactive communications to events and situations. There needs to be a plan as to what you're going to communicate, how you communicate, and how you evaluate that communication. You also have to make sure that those folks that are doing the communications have some type of skill training and background so they can become effective communicators. It's not just about spreading information. Especially in municipal organizations like public school districts or governmental agencies, you have to build those relationships to seek consensus on major decisions. Those leaders, when they communicate with the general public, have to be honest, transparent, and above all, you have to provide ethical leadership so the general public will understand where you're coming from and begin to believe what you're saying. It is financially responsible, fiscally responsible, that organizations communicate well and develop those relationships, because in the end, it's taxpayer dollars that fund what we do. That national association that deals with public relations on a scale, whether it is through private corporations or even through governmental organizations, recommend developing a public relations plan. Understand the goals and the objectives of your organization. Make sure that your plan, once you develop it, has the approval of both the superintendent and the school board. In other municipal organizations, let's say a city, you need the mayor and city council to approve those. Make sure you've targeted specific publics and you use research data to identify how to get your information and get your message out to those folks. And also you need to identify people within the organization who are going to be responsible for providing that communication. Just like classroom teachers, a public relation plan has to have measurable goals. We call those SMART goals in education. You've got to be able to identify what behavioral changes or accomplishments you seek to be successful with using that communication or providing the information. You need to also identify deadlines, those people that are responsible for communicating, what resources are going to be used, and the strategies that you're going to use. Again, like we've said before, it's not about printing it in the newsletter or sending out an email blast. Your efforts have to be relevant and on schedule. You have to be consistent, honest, and transparent with the general public. When we're talking about district and community relations, you're really dealing with two different publics. You have the external public, those folks outside the organization, your taxpayers. But you also have to be able to communicate and build relationships with the internal audiences, your teachers, other workers, people within the educational system. They have influence and they can be key communicators of what the organization is trying to accomplish. They are the ones out there marketing the school and school services, programming, whatever the organization is trying to do. You need to identify those folks that can be successful communicating with both external and internal audiences. Seems like every time we turn on the television or open a browser, there's some type of crisis or emergency going on. And we see how those organizations have prepared themselves to communicate, whether it's police organizations, a local government, the federal government during a pandemic. Everyone has to be able to provide accurate, timely, and open communications. That maintains the credibility of the leaders of the organization and those folks that are out there communicating. You also, as you're communicating, identify the problem. Be open about it. And be open to understanding the issues that are tied to the problem and how you're going to address those. You have to help your employees understand what role they have in communicating. If it's a local emergency situation, it may not necessarily be the chief of police or the mayor that handles communicating with the public. It may be those trained professionals that take care of communicating what's going on in an honest and transparent fashion. So hopefully this has given you kind of a taste of what we're going to work on within this course. Remember, you're viewing things from the consumer end. You're the one listening to what's going on. You're the community member. Look forward to having a great course with you, and good luck and God bless.